This thing that I have found is what I would call my gracious space. Hey folks, Jack here with Gracious Spaces. Thanks for tuning in once again. We appreciate that. I have a very incredible guest today that I can't be any more excited about. Sitting here with me is Kayden Muzila. And welcome. Kayden to the podcast.
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited. I love your place here, and I'm excited to have this conversation.
Yeah, well, I have to kind of be upfront with people. We have a mutual friend, AJ, over at American Barber.
Cool.
One of my favorite spots in town. And you had come in and did some photos for him.
Yeah.
And man, it was right up my lane. I was looking at these photos. I'm like, these are very gangster. Yeah. I love this guy has got a cool vibe going on, and I want to meet him. Yeah. So when I reached out, you're probably like, who is this guy? Just randomly.
Yeah. I was kind of curious about how you found me, and then you told me how you found me, and I was like, oh, well, yeah. Well, that's exactly what I was kind of like when I was thinking of that photo shoot, because I met AJ, I've been to his barbershop before, and I'm like, they have that old aesthetic feel, you know? Yeah. So I was like, dude, you guys are like gangsters, you know? Gangster barbershop. So like, let's put in that, get a little vintage style with it too, and let's send it.
Yeah, that tone, is it like a sepia tone or what? I'm sure there's... it's so cool that feel.
I have like a warmer tone with. I think it just comes naturally with all like my photos that I edit, because I think it ties back to the Western roots and like country roots, is that warmer tone. Yeah. So I think I just naturally do that, you know, on every photo shoot that I'm on. Yeah. So I mean, like sepia, it probably is a little similar, but like, you know, a nostalgic, vintage, warmer look is kind of how I try to portray it, you know?
Well, to sort of fill in the blank for people, what we're talking about is your profession, photography, among many things. Give us a little bit of this is who I am in a couple of sentences.
Yeah. So my name is Kayden Muzila, and I run a full service advertising agency. I have clients heavily in the Western community and the Western industry. And a lot of my work is doing photo and video campaigns for these Western brands, and you know, on top of that, running social media accounts and you know, creating engaging content out there.
A little bit of it all, right? You got your
a little bit of it all, dude.
But you what you do have your lane. It's your lane, and you're doing a very good job of it.
I try my best, you know.
Well, we're going to give AJ a little bit of a plug. We've mentioned him, American Barber down the street. And what you describe, your experience with him, that's what that barbershop is about. Yeah. I grew up in a small town. The barbershop was one of the hubs of the community. You know, people sat there. They got caught up in life. And that's what he's doing over there. He's building community and allowing folks to come in and use the space.
Yeah, from what I've like heard about barbershops and like research and seen in movies of all the old style of barbershops, it was there to have a conversation. You know, it was there to build that community, have a talk with your barber. Some talk about like them being your therapist. You know?
Yes.
And it was very much back in that style, and the old back in the 50 days, and that kind of went up to like New York was a big thing with all the barbershops over there, having that community. You know, so yeah, AJ's doing great, and like his aesthetic to it is
on point,
awesome, you know.
And a lot of that is him, but a lot of that is also another mutual friend is Jojo Alvarez. We're gonna get you hooked up with him, because you and you're gonna be best friends. I can tell it.
Yeah.
But I'm very proud of those guys down there. Jose is my barber down there. I love him, and there we go. We'll give them a plug for today.
There's your plug, AJ.
right. But so photography, you started out in LA, and then we had that industry took a hit some time ago, and that's kind of how you started building and emerging your business.
Yeah, it's all glory to God for this. You know, how I started my career, I got a bachelor's degree in graphic design, and you know, I started at this automotive place, you know, doing like flyers, and then I had a time at a law firm, and then got myself in the advertising agencies and working with celebrities, and I was doing a lot of art direction, creative direction for celebrity e-com brands, you know.
Okay.
And then that got me into the film industry, and then started to work as a creative director, you know, launching campaigns for films and theatrical TV shows coming out. And like you said, all that went to crap, you know, and with all the strikes happening and then everything attached to that industry, you know, took a beating, and the advertising world around it, you know, took that beating.
Yeah, it just fingered out to every industry that was involved in that, the from A to Z, getting a film out or commercials out.
Yeah.
So was that a blessing in your life?
I look at it now, it was a blessing. And, you know, I got laid off, right? And then picked up this creative director job at a tech place, right? Tech education. And it was a night and day
very
different strategy. And I'm just like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. and then that place got hurt as well, and they laid me off too. And you know, I look back at it now, and it's just like God wanted me to start my own thing, right? And so that's when it kind of happened for me.
You had posted, I wrote it down because I really liked it so much. It was way more than this, but the gist of it was God called you to take risk and live boldly.
And
I love that. When I read that, I thought, gosh, you know, we sometimes have a different viewpoint on that. Well, that says a lot right there.
I think, you know, I was just talking about this last night, and, you know, we look at hardship as a punishment from God, but in reality, I think it's a blessing, you know. We just can't see it right then and there, but we have to understand and trust God that it is a blessing, and then he's all knowing, and you know, he has it all planned out for you, and he's not going to give you anything that you can't handle.
And it's up to us to kind of figure that out.
Exactly. We need our heads in the clouds, but our feet on the ground to take action. You know, I can't just expect things to come to me. You know.
So then from there, you're born and raised Orange County. And so you came back to this area. Left LA. And you fell into a world that I find fascinating. I grew up, I mean, what kid didn't grow up wanting to be a cowboy, right? But you kind of just immersed yourself in this world of rodeos with your profession.
So it's crazy how it started. And so I got laid off at that tech firm, right? And, you know, God showed me like, hey, you need to start your own thing. And I couldn't see it yet. And I have one of my best friends, legit cowboy. I'm nowhere near that, right? And, you know, every day he's a champion team roper, right? And he practices every day out in Norco.
Oh, the skill it must take.
It's cool. And I mean, I'm not there yet, but I'm hoping one day.
You rope yourself though?
No, I throw around the rope and do my best. That's about it. But so I asked him one day, I was like, hey, can I bring my camera and just shoot pictures of you? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. So I took my camera, took some pictures, posted it on Instagram, and it kind of took off. You know, it started getting eyes, and I feel like that was the first step in that Western industry. You know,
well, I feel like that world, the Western world, is having a moment right now. It's always been there, and we've appreciated it and loved it and enjoyed it, but it's been elevated to a degree like none other, I think, right now.
Absolutely. It's always been a Americana nostalgic, right? And you know, it hasn't got in the mainstream level of it, but you know, we see big credit to Yellowstone on this, you know. I think once that started, it was the first very kick out into the mainstream world, you know. Well,
you yourself, I can feel you're an old soul, right? It's fair to say, right?
Fair to say, for sure.
So that whole connection of a visual, because when you look at your work, it is very vintage, reminiscent. Even these photo shoots I've seen you shoot, very current, great, beautiful clothing, hats, models, the whole deal. But it's got this sort of old world vibe to it.
I think with every shoot I like to do, I have this mindset of juxtaposition, right? I really love the contrast between it, you know, having modern and you know, old vintage stuff together, you know. So every like shoot I have, like I always try to mash two things that aren't really similar and put them together, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's working, but it goes way further than that too, because you can look at your work and there's a depth to it. You got the sky, a sunset, mountains, and then the desert or trees or whatnot, and then all the stuff in the forefront.
Yeah.
It takes a certain eye to capture all that, I feel like.
Yeah. It's just when I'm taking photos, when I'm on a set, you know, I have a full pre-production plan to all my shoots, right? And mood boards, shot lists, whatever.
Yeah.
But when I'm there, I'm just like, in the moment, I'm like constantly thinking, how can I be different?
Yeah.
How can I be different? Whether it's like the angle, the shot, like foreground, you know, background, what can I do that's different? And I strive to constantly always be different with my work, because there's just so much out there. It's just consistent, repeated patterns, you know, with photographers and whatnot, you know?
Well, and I think that not only that, but the AI stuff is so prevalent right now. You're competing with a lot of stuff, you know, and online and visuals, and it's sort of bringing that authenticity back to a photographer. That it's a job, you know. It's incredible. What you do. So like you just said, you can do all the mood boards you want, but in the moment, no one can predict a certain element that might expose itself. I just did this shoot out in Arizona in Sedona, and I had this full month of pre-planning this shoot, shot list and everything, had a whole storyboard about it being sunny. I get to Sedona. It's Arizona, what else? Right?
There's no other weather over there.
Right.
So I get to this Sedona, and for an hour I have a bright, beautiful sun. And then that hour goes away and it's immediate storm, lightning, thunder, rain coming down. And I'm shooting this video and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not what I wanted, you know? But somehow, I mean, the video is still cool because there's like a 80 miles per hour winds going on, and the girl's like just running on the rocks, and the wind's blowing through her hair. It looks awesome, you know. The
sky's a different color, kind of
different
darker,
color, a lot darker, super contrasty.
So you use it to your benefit.
Yeah,
you kind of have to.
You have to, and I'm very much like I tell a lot of people I'm a very much run and gun kind of guy.
Yeah,
you know, I'm a dude that will figure it out.
Yeah,
and that brings it back to my graphic design career. Like, as a creative, what is my goal? To solve a problem. You know, my goal is to solve a problem for you, not to make something look pretty. You know, that's an artist. An artist makes something look pretty, like a painting there, and that's their art, right? But for me, it's strategy, and like, I'm solving a problem for you guys, right? So
I like that outlook on that. You know, I think we can go that can translate to any of our businesses, really.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
And I love you sharing that. Hopefully those that are listening will take that on. And implement it in their own strategy of work as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. So any challenges that you face that were just like, oh God, I got to give up or stop
every day?
Every day. Well, in the photo shoot world, I mean, close calls with the livestock or shooting of rodeos.
Oh, well, just recently, you know, I shooting in Arizona. It's 110 degrees or whatever, and it's probably 7 p.m. at night. You know,
still hot.
You know, but a model passing out. You know, but that was probably the worst case I've had so far. No, I've heard some horror stories from other photographers. You know, horses bucking while a model's on there and she's breaking her arm, and that's a horror story. You know, and I knock on wood, pray to God that never happens. But you know, so far so good.
Well, imagine that aside. No one wants to wish that on anyone, but the energy behind those shoots with the crowd and and the horse itself and the rider. There's got to be this level of his intensity.
Yeah, I mean,
watching it
with the rodeo stuff, I feel like you never know what's going to happen. You never know. And I did that Norco rodeo just the other week, and I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know how it was going to look. There's no pre-planning to those types of shoots, right? You go and I hope you get the best kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But it's the best about that is like, with the rodeo stuff, you're going to get something good, because it's just so cool and so authentic and raw.
Yeah. Raw. And I like that word.
Yeah. A lot of people with, like you brought up earlier, the AI stuff, like everything is so AI now and so pushed out there that people are craving raw stuff, authentic stuff, and that's why I think the whole rodeo photography and videography is like so saturated now, because people are craving that realness now. Yeah. And that's the same thing with the cowboy stuff. Yeah. People crave the realness, the nostalgic, the authentic, right?
Yeah. Is that a world that's sort of, we used the word picky earlier. I would imagine it's such a niche that there is a element of being picky and who you choose that you want to come on and have.
Yeah. I think everybody loves the whole Western industry so much, but they don't do enough research on it. I've had models show up saying, "Hey, I can ride horses," and then they get on a horse and you don't know anything right now.
Horses have their own personality too.
You don't know how to ride. What are you talking about? Yeah. And then I've seen like big brands out there doing their Western style campaign, and they're holding a rope wrong. They're tacking the horse wrong. And let me be honest. Like, I am nowhere near a cowboy. But I've done my research. And I am a sponge to it. Yeah. And I think that's most importantly with everything, is to be a sponge and to consume as much information about something that you're passionate about. Yeah. And to just shut up and learn,
Well, and that leads you to showing up and doing the best job you possibly can, you know, show up and do it, Yeah. It's a detail. That's the word I'm looking for. Detail. Yeah. And someone that needs to be in tune with the details, like the way the rope is being held. Yeah. That's huge. Yeah. It takes you to another level.
Yeah. And I saw that. I think Beyonce did a shoot a couple, maybe a year or so ago. And man, she was holding this rope. Yeah. Completely photoshopped, like her hand. And it was just so wrong. And it's just like, a brand, an artist that big could not hire somebody that knew what they were doing, and say, "Hey, can you just watch and make sure?" Yeah.
Well, it's funny because I was I was going to bring up the whole Beyonce thing, and I wasn't. Then I decided, no, but you went there.
Yeah, we got to talk about it.
I don't know. I mean, I'm old school country. I love like the Loretta Lynn's of the world and Merle Haggard's and stuff. And then I don't know, when she came out with that song, it was
the whole album.
The whole album.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's only released one off the album, I think. I don't know. Who knows? But
I don't know. Didn't she win best album, country album?
Yeah, yeah.
Which is mind blowing to me. But
well, there's politics behind that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But in ways though, you look at that help carry that world over to a whole new audience that may not have known about it.
Exactly. And I think, whoever the industry leaders are in the music world, they know what they're doing. Oh. They want the merge of different genres to go together. Because look at Stagecoach. You know what Stagecoach is, right? Yeah. It started with just 100% country music, right? Yeah. And now it's getting,
so many stages and
different genres in there. And they have this whole Diplo EDM tent now. Yeah. So, they're merging cultures. And then you see the biggest artists, doing collabs with rappers. And so they're merging it, and that's all for a reason, because it's going mainstream.
Well, right? Money. It's an expansion of the brand that they want to build. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. So tell us a little bit about your relationship with God, and I know you're 4 years into sobriety.
Yeah.
At this point, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome. You want to share a little bit about that journey with us?
Yeah. So I am sober 4 years now. Sober off drugs and alcohol, and I think it all started when I was a kid. My whole journey, and I think I like to tell this story of before I even touched alcohol. Right. My parents told me this story about when I was 3 years old. I was chasing the older neighborhood kids because they were jumping off the treehouse, right? So at 3 years old, I would constantly jump off the treehouse, and I just, for some reason, would keep doing it. And that, I don't know if that's alcoholism or not, but that's some sort of adrenaline rush that I really liked when I was a kid. And by the time I was 12, I was in a different neighborhood, growing up in a different neighborhood, and there was older kids around, and I wanted to be cool with those older kids, right? Yeah. And they're like 16 when I was like 12, so they got alcohol, and I started drinking it, and man, that was awesome.
Felt good, huh?
It was great,
Yeah.
And it worked out so well for me. It worked out because my home wasn't the best. I had some parents that were pretty abusive with each other, and to us, and going home to that constantly without alcohol was kind of probably anxiety driven, and
sort of numbed you, huh?
Yeah, depression probably at a young age, and without even realizing it, and then I find alcohol, I can go home to that, right? There. And I don't care,
Yeah.
I could mask all my problems. So alcohol took away all that for me, and it solved my problem when I was a kid. And from 12 to 18, it did great,
Yeah.
And
your environment as well. There was no one there to sort of lead you or pull you out of it.
No,
to speak up. It sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, and I wanted to be cool. I wanted to be cool, and I was going. I'd take alcohol to school at junior high. I remember. Me and my best friend, I took a water bottle and I filled it with whiskey. Great idea. And I drank the whole bottle, and then we had flag football at lunch, and I was hammered.
Oof.
And I was like trying to catch the ball, and I probably looked extremely hammered because I was like wobbling all over the place and like, what's wrong with this kid? And so I get called to the principal's office, and they found my water bottle, right? And you can see the brown streaks in there. That's not water, obviously.
I get you. It was a clear water bottle.
Yeah, it was a clear one. So he pulled it out. I remember the principal pulling it out, and then he's like, "What's this?" And I started cracking up. I thought it was so funny, and because I didn't care, alcohol solved my problems.
What are you gonna do? Yeah.
So I got in trouble and suspended, whatever. But I'll be back.
Yeah. And so that just continued throughout your whole teen.
And, so by the age of 15, I got drafted to go play hockey in Canada, which was awesome. And just recently, I met with one of my old hockey buddies, right? And I asked him, I said, hey, did we drink a lot when we were out there in Canada? Yeah. He's like, dude, we were hammered all the time. Yeah. And I was like, I don't remember that. Wow. I thought we were just playing hockey, and it was just snowing a lot, but apparently I was hammered a lot, you know? But yeah, so from 15, to 18, I was out in Canada playing hockey, came back, and I retired from hockey at 18, right? And then that's when my responsibility, my accountability all went out the window, I wasn't playing on a team anymore. No one cared about me, right? So the alcohol and then the drugs started to come in, and that's when life started to get a little chaotic for me.
Yeah. Well, on your Instagram page, you have chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you embrace that.
Yeah. And it's more of a, my life, because I've had that same handle, that Instagram handle, since I was like where I first made Instagram. I've never changed it. And it is a kind of a play, because my life was so chaotic and it was constantly filled with chaos when I was drinking. But now it's like I still keep it, because I want to show that where my life has come from, and how I've gave myself to Christ, and he's changed me entirely. My life isn't chaotic anymore, because of him, right?
Took on a whole new meaning.
Exactly.
Was there a like the lowest of low points for you?
Oh yeah. So from 18, that's when I retired, right? And I found drugs, and I started to sell drugs, started hanging out with the wrong crowds, gang members and whatnot. And,
we'll say when you do something, you dive full, dive all the way in.
I'm 110%, like constantly. I'm a very black and white guy, and if I'm in something, I'm going to dive in always.
Gang members and all.
Yeah. So I was fully immersed in that world. And, with that world, I got a lot of guilt and shame, and, I wasn't doing the best things, and I think I was carrying a lot of it. And when the drugs and the alcohol weren't enough for me, I needed something else, right? And because I needed to feel numb, So what I found was all this self-harm stuff, right? And I got into a lot of self-harm, cutting and whatnot. But the stages of alcohol and drugs and self-harm, it came up because I have a progressive illness, and after those three things, what else is there? Right. And then I got into a lot of suicide stuff. So by the end of my drinking, I had 4 suicide attempts, 2 overdoses, and my liver was failing, and by the grace of God, I'm here today.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Looking out for you.
Yeah.
Out of those, if you don't mind talking about it a little bit, out of those suicide attempts, who was there to pull you out of that? What were they? Random sort of? Okay, he's on the street, let's call the ambulance, or friends, or
no? Every suicide attempt, I failed, and I just went back home and I drank and drank myself to sleep. So the first time I did it, and I was embarrassed that it didn't work and ashamed that it didn't work. So I just went back to my apartment and started drinking, right? Passed out, and the next day was a new day. And then I think maybe 6 months to a year, then I tried to do it again. Nothing happened, And so just drank myself to sleep again. And then a third time, but until that fourth time, right, was when God intervened, right? And I think there was such hopelessness, and my heart was so open for the willingness to get help that God intervened and came in. And so on that last day, I remember waking up, and I was immediately on the wrong side of the bed, and upset about something. And I turned my phone off and immediately started drinking. And my best friends know my track record, right? And they know my suicide attempts before this. And so my phone being off, that started, getting some red flags. And this was like a Wednesday. This is not like a weekday where people are at work and I'm just at home getting drunk. So, during that day, I remember one part of that day where I'm in my bathroom and I have a knife in my stomach and the bathroom door is in front of me. And I'm hitting my head on the bathroom door constantly because I'm so out of ideas. I don't know what to do anymore. I can't, seem to kill myself, I can't. Do you want me to stop? Or are you good?
No, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't seem to kill myself. And then I can't seem to not drink. I can't seem to drink enough, So what am I doing? Right. And
oof, geez.
So And I remember just hitting my head constantly and just trying to think of a good idea. And in that moment, I look back at it, and it's God pushing himself in my heart right there. You know, the Holy Spirit coming in, you know, saying, surrender, surrender, surrender. And it wasn't yet. It didn't happen yet, you know. So time goes on during that day, and, you know, my friends start trickling in, right, one at a time. And they just see me a mess, right? When my roommate comes home, he's my cousin, I see my roommate and I punch him in the face, because that's what a good roommate would do, right? And so he runs off, and he comes back in the room, and then he says, I called your mom, she's on her way. And my mom doesn't know any of my track history, you know. She doesn't know nothing, right?
It was all kept from her?
All kept from her, you know. I was a big secret guy. I would walk around with a smile on my face.
Good at hiding it.
Good at hiding it, you know.
Yeah.
And
it's the first she's heard of it.
The first she heard it, and I don't know what he said to her, but I imagine it was like, "Hey, your son's like losing it. You need to come here now." I don't know.
Yeah.
So I get in my car, grab my car keys, and drive off. And while I'm driving off, my mom and stepdad are driving in, and they see me pulling out. So they pull me over at a red light. And my stepdad gets in the car and drives me back, and I get out of the car, and it's like my four best friends there and my mom there just staring at me. No words, absolutely speechless. And
they're trying to take it all in, I imagine.
Yeah.
What do we do?
Yeah.
This guy we love.
Yeah. So jaws on the ground. And, you know, I still remember my mom's face. And that's when it struck, like, instantly. You know, God showed me the damage I was causing to other people. And, I needed to get help.
Yeah. That's something. He showed you the damage you're causing to others.
Yeah.
You're still thinking about others.
Yeah.
So here you are doing anything just to get it over with, and you're referencing God was speaking to you.
Yeah.
You didn't come from a religious background. Nothing. What can you articulate? What made you put God in your life right there? And
well,
like you knew basically nothing about him other than what we normally know.
I knew there was no way I could get myself sober, and there's no human power that could get me sober, you know. So at the time, I knew there was something greater than myself that got me sober, right? And for the first year of my sobriety, I knew God as an imaginary thing, you know, something out there got me sober, because obviously I could not do it. I tried to get sober at 18.
Yeah.
You know, the doctor gave me those pills that make you throw up if you drink. I don't know what they're called, but you know, what did I do? I still drank, you know. During my last days of drinking, I went to the doctor because my liver was failing, and he said, "Hey, you need to stop drinking or you're going to die." I said, "Okay, I'm going to go to the bar right now," you know. And there's been so many cases where I had these near-death experiences, and I said, well, I'm going to go drink, you know? So there's no way I can make that decision, right?
Yeah.
And it was a sense of so much hopelessness that I knew something else was out there, you know? And, you know, in sobriety is when I really found that something, right?
You would say you became happier with your life?
Absolutely.
More settled with yourself?
Yeah. So in my sobriety, it's like the first year, you know, I was high on sobriety, right? Everything was amazing. It was, you know, life was going great.
It's like jumping off of a treehouse.
Yeah. You know, I was high on sobriety, right? Yeah. And by the time I was a year and a half sober, I lost 2 of my jobs. My best friend died. And my best friend was there on my last day of drinking, and he died from cirrhosis, right? And some girl that I liked dumped me, you know? So that all happened.
Life still has issues, right?
Yeah, life still has issues, right? But I didn't know how to deal with those issues because I wasn't really figuring out the core problem and connecting with God, you know? I was just high on sobriety.
Yeah.
So I come crashing at a year and a half sober. And, I have this fork in the road where I'm like, hey, I'm going to go drinking and hang myself, or I can just get more help. And I decided to get more help.
Good for you.
And this is when Christ came in my life specifically. And I had this weird obsession with homeless people. And I would stare at homeless people constantly when I was a year and a half of going through all this.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, they are living the best life ever. What they're doing is so cool. I want to do that, right?
Kind of like off the grid,
with themselves, just drunk and laying on the ground. That was awesome to me. No responsibilities.
Yeah,
super cool. And I had this obsession, and I was like just looking at them and like fantasizing about it. Meanwhile, I was still cutting myself at a year and a half sober. I got back into that. Yeah. And one day I was going to these meetings, and during a meeting, someone said at the end of their share, and if you're staring at homeless people thinking they're living the best life, you have a problem. And that hit me so hard because I was doing it for like months, right?
Yeah.
So I talked to this guy.
So you envied that world.
Yeah.
That they were in.
Yeah. So I talked to this guy after the meeting, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. What's going on? And I was telling him what I was going. I was like, dude, I have this obsession about like homeless people, and I'm cutting myself again, and I'm a year and a half sober. And he looked at me and he said, you have no God. You have no God in your life. You're not living on life's terms at all. And that's when he started preaching scripture to me, telling me about the gospel and what Christ has done for me. And I feel that conviction, and I immediately started going to church after that. Yeah. And being hungry for the Bible and the Word. Yeah.
We all have our own path.
Yeah.
Do you still talk to that individual?
Every day.
Okay.
Every day. We're like best friends.
And how many years is he in?
He's 26 years. Yeah. Yeah. 26 years sober.
Yeah.
And I think he found Christ maybe 10 years sober. Okay. Something like that.
So the key there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do you have any sort of words of wisdom for those that may be struggling at the same point in their life or coming toward it?
Jesus loves you, you're made for a purpose, for his purpose. And, life happens, but if you trust in God, you're going to be fine. Yeah. God wouldn't give you things that you can't handle.
Yeah. A friend of mine used to say, there's that saying, God acts in mysterious ways. Mm-hmm. He flipped it around and said, God acts in obvious ways. Yeah. And it's up to us to figure out what that way is. It's not mysterious at all. If we want to make it that's fine, but it's pretty obvious. So look around, you figure it out. Yeah. And I always loved that saying.
Yeah. And that's, it is obvious in a sense, but we are so blinded by the truth, Yeah. And we're so blinded by our own desires that we forget and, go on our own self-will and what feels right, in my heart or whatever, but that's not the way that God wants us to live, or me at least,
Well, I think that even translates to other things as well. Kindness, grace, respect. It's hard to live that on a day-to-day.
Absolutely.
You want to take that little turn here and there, or you have a trigger from somebody or something, and you got to pull yourself back in. And we all sometimes, I'm speaking for myself, I guess, but we don't.
Well, you're speaking for me too, because I still struggle. I constantly still struggle, man. Yeah. And when I got sober, I, had all these defects of character that, kind of went away. But then while I was sober, I got new ones. And I'm like, when did these happen?
Right.
And maybe it's the way of the Holy Spirit showing me like, you've already had these, but you now have me inside of me, right?
Yeah.
The Holy Spirit's inside of me, and it's showing me what's right and wrong, you know? So who knows?
Well, you're clearly here for a reason. Purpose.
After 4 times, I imagine there is some sort of purpose for me out there,
Absolutely. What's next step for you?
The next steps is whatever God has for me, of course. But having this agency that I'm doing now, I constantly want to grow. There's a lot of other things I'm doing on the side. I'm directing this documentary. I'm trying to launch this CPG product on the side too. So that all these things work related are happening, and it's such a blessing, and it's so awesome. And and it's a privilege to be stressed out, to working hard on something. And you've had your business for decades, it sounds like, right?
12 years.
12 years. Yeah. And so you understand, but it's that blessing, and that's privilege, because it's like hard work,
It is hard work. We got to take a step back and remember that. There's those few that just want to pull you down a little bit, but the ones who want to lift you up are way outweigh those few. And not concentrate on those few. You know?
And it's more of a sense of like what you brought up earlier. It's like God wants me to live with risk and be bold and, serve his purpose constantly, and like the convenience of helping others. It's not convenient at all. I'm not going to be like, well, I could probably, do this at this time because it fits right in my schedule here. No, that is not the way to serve, It should be more out of convenience, to help somebody else. And I constantly try to help others on a daily basis. And tell you what, dude, it's not very convenient. It's not very convenient in my schedule, because I got a crazy schedule.
You do. Well, it takes that chore. When you have that mindset, it takes that chore and turns it into a pleasure. And a way to not only fulfilling yourself, but that person as well. And Kayden, I admire you tremendously. I really do, and I'm grateful that you were brought into my life to share your story, and thank you for sharing that story. With me.
Of course, man. I appreciate it.
So, hey, you're welcome on anytime. This has been a great conversation. There's so much more we could cover with you. I know it. And perhaps we'll do that.
Oh, absolutely.
But I really appreciate you, and thanks for being here.
No, thanks for having me. I love this conversation.
Great. Not a problem. Anytime, and we'll talk to you later, folks.